I constantly hear people say that they are afraid of the police, the IRS, what the president will do in office, afraid that taxation and regulations will drive them out of business, that they will be sued out of business due to frivolous lawsuits, that they aren't sure they're jumping through all the hoops that government requires just to be able to protect their families, that there may be a new military draft instituted, that they may die waiting nearly 10 years on average for the FDA to approve a treatment that may save their life, and so much more. I hear national talk show hosts repeatedly state that both major parties have sold us out or are leading us down the road to hell. Even in ads for legal services, one highly rated host mentioned that you should use the legal services being advertised on the show to protect yourself from government. Isn't it time we finally admit that government is not a good thing? If people are living in fear, and we have the largest prison population of any country on earth, even though this is supposedly the land of the free and home of the brave, isn't it time to admit that this was a mistake and work to abolish it? I'm not talking about overthrowing the establishment with violence and bloodshed. I'm simply hoping that people will come to their senses and realize that we need to reverse course and peacefully deconstruct the source of our oppression. I've heard some people say that we need government because of human nature, but human nature is precisely why no human should ever be able to forcibly control and rule other humans. In human history, there's never been a limited restrained government. Some governments have taken longer than others, but all have failed to remain limited or small. Why? Human nature. Thomas Jefferson summed it up quite well. Sometimes it is said that man cannot be trusted with the government of himself. Can he then be trusted with the government of others? Or have we found angels in the form of kings to govern him? Let history answer this question. Too bad Jefferson didn't follow his own wise words. Humans will be humans. No one suddenly becomes a saint simply by being elected to office. In fact, power corrupts, as the old saying goes, and all the political scandals, corruption, and lies constantly reported in the news should provide ample proof. Politicians and government officials have divided the country and tricked the people into thinking that they are justified and correct in trying to control others for some perceived greater good. Sorry, but there can be no greater good than freedom, and government tramples all over it. Lysander Spooner once said, "The principle that the majority have a right to rule the minority practically resolves all government into a mere contest between two bodies of men as to which of them shall be masters and which of them slaves, a contest that, however bloody, can in the nature of things never be finally closed so long as man refuses to be a slave." Government officials steal from us with taxation, manipulate our currency and destroy our savings with the Federal Reserve, transfer wealth from the commoners to the elite with bailouts, as well as tell us what we can say, what we can eat, where we can travel, what we can buy, and from whom we can marry, what we can wear, where we can build, where we can live, how we can work to feed our families, what we can read, how we can protect our families, and on and on. Yet they simultaneously try to convince us that we're free and that they are working to preserve our freedom. Good grief, people, wake up. And where did these people get their power in the first place? Some will say that power comes from the people, but there's a big problem with that when you look at everything logically. Being a regular person, your neighbor can't legally or morally go out and break into your home, take your children because he doesn't like you or the way you are raising your kids, steal money from your wallet or bank accounts, force you to use mercury-containing, highly toxic fluorescent lights, tear your newly built storage building down because you didn't get permission, a permit, from him, fine you because you painted your house a color that doesn't meet with community standards or zoning regulations, etc. How is it then that your neighbor, a regular person just like anyone else, can win an election and suddenly gain the power to do these illegal and immoral things? If he didn't have the power before, and no one else possessed the rightful or moral authority to do these things either, how can that power come from the people? It can't. Therefore, it is illegitimate. You can't give something away that you do not have. And men in powdered wigs didn't have any right to simply write words on a piece of parchment and begin ruling present and future generations either. We have to admit mistakes and make the necessary corrections. Government and freedom cannot coexist, so a choice has to be made. The Bible states, "No one can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or he will be devoted to one and despise the other." Even the Declaration of Independence supports correction, stating, "Whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, which are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, it is the right of the people to alter or abolish it." The time has come to make a choice: freedom or institutionalized slavery, division, and theft. For me, the choice is obvious. Which one will you choose?